Hey, we're back again. Now we're going to complete our study of the Greek alphabet using the table on the first page or second page of your textbook. We stopped with the first 12 letters, so we're going to continue with the next set of 4. And our first letter is nu. We had mu, M. This is nu. This is our N sound. We had a letter that looked like an English N, but it's not a Greek N. But this is a Greek N, even though it doesn't look like an N either. It looks like a V. But you need to forget V. This is not a V. This is an N, a nu. So think of mu and then nu. Not new as in something new, but nu. Mu and nu, the N sound, nu. M and N. We had M before, we have nu now. And now one that students find troublesome, large letter xi. Sometimes we put a little X sound on the beginning just to pronounce it either xi, but it's just really xi. It's the X when it's written in English letters. There's another Greek letter that looks like an X but isn't. This is the X, but it's called xi. And we'll look how it's written in just a moment, but you notice that it really is a fancy large E as far as writing it is concerned, cursive writing. So we have nu, xi, then omicron is a vowel, omicron, short O sound, and won't cause us much problem. Looks the same as the English O. And one that we're also familiar with, except we usually know it as pi from mathematics, but we pronounce it P in Greek, in New Testament Greek. I don't know why. So don't ask, why do we use pi in math and p in study of Greek, but we do. So let's review those 4 letters again. Nu, xi, omicron, and p, or our N, our X, our short O sound, short O, and P, our P sound. So how do we write those? And here I am again to show you how we write those. Again, something that's very important, and that is that you make the nu sharp, like a V, except forget that it's a V. And usually folks like to lean it over a bit, but in practice, it just comes out as looking like an English V. What you don't want to do is to make this round at the bottom, and students often do that, and it's confusing with another letter. And if I see this, I will actually read that other letter. I won't read what you mean. So that's not nu. This is nu. N sound. Now, xi starts above the line, and you make a curl, and then you come down and make an E, and below the line again. I think I've got one too many curls in here, so let me try that again. It's getting better. You see, even teachers have problems with xi. Start above the line, curl, come down in the middle, and what looks like a fancy large E, and then curl it below the line. So that's our xi, or our X sound, x in Greek. Omicron is a vowel again, and really shouldn't give us any problems, except in the pronunciation of it, that we don't confuse it with the long O sound. This is Omicron. And P we know already, so I won't spend much time on it. From our math class, it's also a small letter, and we write it just like we write it in math, except we pronounce it P. So those are the next four letters. Now let me go back, and you see how I suggested that we write them by putting a star at each particular point. And I start the move, for example, at the top left, and he starts it at the bottom. So whatever, this is not required. This is just however you write the best and the clearest. That's the way you should use it. Now we've already moved here to our next letter, which is Ro. It's not like a Spanish R, but neither is it an English American R. It's an aspirated R, Ro. We call it in Greek a hard breathing. This is not P. It looks like an English P, but it's an R sound. Ro. Written in English, R-H-O, Ro. Our next letter is sigma, the S sound, S. But the only complication here with sigma is it has two forms. It's written like this when it starts a word or is within a word, but if it ends a word, it's written like this. I don't know why, it just is. Some fonts, English fonts and typewritten fonts will make this a little different, larger at the top and smaller at the bottom, but essentially we write it just like an English small s. So I think those, no, we have one more. Tau, the T sound tau is our next letter, and we have upsilon as well, a vowel, which doesn't cause us any problems, except we have to make sure that we make it nice and round at the bottom, not like nu, which is sharp at the bottom. So these are our four letters. Ro, notice that aspirated R, Ro. Sigma and the two forms, tau and upsilon. So let's write them. Ro. I'm going to start below the line, and I'm going to come up. I'm going to lean over a little bit. It's going to be above the line, the same size as alpha, basically round. But just as long as I have the tail at the bottom, and I'll recognize a Ro. And remember, it's not a P, it's an R. Ro, an aspirated Ro. Sigma. Now, I think he may start it in a different place than I do, but the easiest way for me has always been to start like I'm making a U and come across and just put a tail at the top. Extend the right side just a little bit out to make the sigma. So I've started off making what looks like a U in English, but closed it off and then extended it to the right. The other way of making sigma, the way it appears at the end of a word, is like an English S. So I'm just going to make it like that and not try to be fancy like in the textbook where it's larger at the top and smaller at the bottom. And then we have one more, Rho, sigma, tau. Oh, no, we have two more. One more in this section. Another vowel sound. We're getting close to the end of our vowels. This is the sixth one, and there's one more after this, is upsilon. And just remember, and I've gone overboard, to make this round at the bottom, because you don't want to confuse it, you see. with nu. Nu has a sharp edge to it when it comes down, and upsilon, oo sound, the vowel oo, in English, usually transliterated English letters as a U. Sometimes as a Y, actually, but in the textbook, he only shows a U. But I'll point out situations where we actually transliterate and put it into English letters as a Y. But it is a oo sound, basically, and our sixth vowel. Easy to write. Just remember, don't confuse it with nu. So back to our letters, review them again: Rho, sigma, tau, upsilon. And now we come to our last four. And that the first one of those is phi. And it'll be very simple to write with a circle or like an omicron with a line through it. Phi, our F sound, P-H-I, phi. Maybe it helps to remember the dog's name. I always do, Fifi. We used to hear it a lot. It was a fancy name for French poodles. Are there such a thing as French poodles? I don't know, but Fifi, Fi. So Fi, and these are actually, these last three, except for the last one, are very similar in sound. Fi, and then also an E sound, but with a CH, but a German CH or a Scottish CH, as in the German word Loch, or the Scottish word Loch. You've heard of Loch Ness Monster. The Scots make a in the back of their throats for this letter. It's C-H-I, chi, and it's actually the first letter in the name Christ. And it's actually where the idea or the abbreviation for Xmas that some of you may have seen growing up, it actually comes from the Greek letter chi, C-H. Is how we transliterate it in English. Not X, it's not an X, it's ch, chi. This is the letter chi. And the next letter is psi. So it's an upsilon, not an omicron this time, an upsilon with a line through it. So we had phi, then we had chi, then we have psi, and the last letter of the Greek alphabet, omega, with the accent on the first syllable, omega, the long O sound. So let's put those into cursive writing. The last four letters, then we have them all. Phi, you just write an omicron and then come down through the middle of it. Now, if you want to, you can do it like he does, and have omicron and then put a line through it, but that looks to me too much like an uppercase phi. So I prefer what most Greek writers do, at least in the New Testament. They just simply make a circle like an omicron and come down through the middle and make sure that the tail goes down through the middle below the line. So we have phi, then we have chi. The little complication about chi is that it is actually a large letter, but it doesn't cross where you normally would, and it doesn't quite come up to the top. So it's kind of crosses just here above the lower line and doesn't extend up to the upper line. So you notice it's actually the same size as beta, for example, but it's just by tradition placed a little lower and extends further below the bottom line. So we have phi, chi, then we have psi. So if you make an upsilon and put, say, make it a little darker, and put a line through it, kind of looks like a trident, a fork, right? Phi, Ki, Psi, PS. So we have the F sound or the PH, and then we have the or the CH, and then we have the PS, ps sound, and finally we have the long O sound, another one and final of the vowels, the seventh, omega. It's a little hard to write up there like this. So it's just rounded and the final letter. So alpha and omega. Alpha was our first letter. Omega is our final and 24th letter of the Greek alphabet. And there we are. We've learned to the 24 letters and we've practiced how to write them. Now, I would suggest that you simply take a sheet of paper and practice writing them over and over and practice saying them. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, iota, kappa, lambda, mu, nu, xi, omicron, pi, rho, sigma, tau, upsilon, phi, chi, psi, omega. And if you can see how fast you can say the Greek alphabet. Thanks, and we'll see you again.